Sacabo, welcome, bienvenidos. This is Roxana from MetamorphosisRox, and today I have one for you. Now, if you're new here, you will be surprised to find out that we are in the middle of a transition, and so basically I'm doing whatever I think I want to do to see which one I actually like to do. And I think I found one of those things that I really would like to do more of. If you've been here before, this is a new one for you. I have never actually interviewed a person right then and there, live. Well, not live because you're going to see the recording, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to introduce you to Arlene, who is the owner of Ain't Your Mama's Baked Beans. So, here's the thing. Arlene is a woman of faith. And it's very obvious when you hear her speak. But it's more than just her faith, to be honest with you. When you meet her, she's so warm and so inviting. It's not just the beans, although I do gush about the beans a little too much. But when I met her, it was one of those things where she was so nice and so friendly that I just kept talking to her. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about divine intervention. And I have to say that because I'm in this journey of self-discovery at the moment, I don't want to do the stuff that we used to do on this channel. I want to try new things. This fell on my lap, quite literally. My daughter tells me, I got one for you, and here we are. So, few disclaimers. Remember, we're all adults here. We all have different opinions, and we should respect everybody else's opinions as well. I know you guys are going to welcome Arlene with open arms. Thank you so much for watching. And without further ado, here's the interview. Enjoy. Hello, Arlene.
Hello, Roxana. How are you?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I am so happy that you gave us a little time for us to interview you and know a little bit more about your product. Now, my people know that I love your beans.
Yay.
Absolutely love your beans. But I also read your bio on your page, which I am going to include so that people can go and check the page.
Sure.
Now, I know that this has a lot to do with the church.
Not church,
but
God.
Before we even get into that,
Yeah.
Cooking.
Because
Obviously it's baked beans.
right.
Has that always been a passion of yours?
Cooking or just the baked beans?
Cooking.
I wouldn't say it's been a passion. I would say it's something that I've enjoyed. I'm that kind of person who can get in the kitchen and, just whip up some stuff. Be like, okay, let's try this, see what that does. And, cut that in. And what does that do? And what does that taste like? It's been more like that. So when the beans came into play, it was kind of like, you're just putting some stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Since you brought the church factor in, is it all right if I
Yeah.
just go there? So it's kind of like, hey, we're having a church event, everybody brings something, and it's like, oh, okay, what am I gonna bring, right? And that's really how the baked beans came into play. At first I was using other ingredients. It was still beans, but then maybe I'd throw some corn in or throw some green beans in, and then it just turned into let's just stick with the beans and bring in the sauce and bring in the flavors. And so when it happened, it was more like you're just doing it. It didn't have purpose to say, oh, this may be your life. It wasn't like that at the time. So yeah.
So you didn't think, okay, this is going to be the rest of my life. I'm going to be doing beans. It actually developed into that. Was it because the people in the church kept asking you for beans?
That was number one. Actually, one of the young men of the church, he was like, Miss Arlene, you really need to sell these. And I'm like, no. Well, let me go a little bit further back, because the apostle of the church, he was like, it was a prophetic word that you're going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, not. I love benefits. I love getting a paycheck every week. Are you serious? I was like, God, that can't be my life, And so I just, kicked that to the side. I was like, no, we're not doing that. And so when the when the beans came into play, it was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But God just kept showing it to me. It was like, okay, this is where this is going. People are loving it. People are wanting it. And it's like, okay. And then it's like, so I didn't have a name. I didn't have anything. It was just like, okay, you're just doing the beans. And so I started putting it in jars. And when I started doing that, I was like, okay, this needs a name. It used to be this beer I would drink. It kind of evolved around this beer called Ancient Father's Root Beer. If you ever heard of that or drank that. And I was like, I like that. That's catchy. I want something, to kind of go coordinate with that. If that makes sense, right? And I was at church, and I'm standing there telling them about the beans and what God is doing. And it's like, I got a name, Ain't Your Mama's Baked Beans. And it was like, ain't yo. And I was like, okay, no, ain't yo. Like, yo, it ain't your mama's baked beans, right? And so it just...
And they are not.
And they're
because
not.
They are amazing. And I haven't even gotten to the super spicy, because the only one that does the super spicy is hubby.
Okay.
But I can tell you from my personal experience, now I'm going to give a little background of how I saw you in the supermarket. And Arlene was actually offering her beans that day as testers. And you'll know that I have to do everything gluten-free. So I looked at them. I love beans. I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
Everything is rice and beans. And when we try them, oh my, it's an obsession. And I'm not going to lie, most of the time I have them with hot dogs, which I'm not supposed to be eating, but I don't care, because the salty of the hot dog with the spicy sweet of the beans, it's a combo. What combos do people tell you about when they tell you about your beans? Because I've seen that people have told you that they love your beans and whatnot. But I want to know, have people told you, well, I like to mix them with this or that or the other? What kind of has anybody told you anything like that?
Actually, yes. One of my customers, he actually sauteed shrimp. I tell people to be creative. Don't just eat them. Use just like I said with the hot dog. I still eat hot dogs. I eat the Hebrew hot dogs because they're beef. And they're not so sodium bound. I eat those, and plus, I make a coleslaw. I make my own vegan coleslaw.
Okay.
And so I'll put that on it, and with my mustard, and I'm fixing it up, and I got the beans with it. So yeah, I do that for me. I'll have it with, and I tell people, when you barbecuing, if you're still doing the meat thing, the sweet and spicy hot will go grand with that.
So you're vegan then?
I'm not vegan,
but
my
lean.
I'm leaning, but I'm not vegan. I would say more vegetarian because I enjoy meat. I'm not. That's not off my plate.
Okay.
I just don't do it as much. But yeah, I'll throw some wings together. And,
He loves wings.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So
I'm, and I tell people, I said you don't have to eat it cold, you don't have to eat it hot. You can do whatever you want to do. Go get your chips. You can have it as a, you sit in. Because I had one guy. He's a chiropractor, and I was giving this to him as a sample. Him in his receptionist. Well, she don't eat beans, so she gave hers to him, and I think I just had like sweet and spicy hot in the van, and so as a result, when she gave her portion to him, he sat there. He said, I ate both of them. Meaning I'm just sitting here and they're so good and they're burning my mouth up, but I'm just standing eating them, and I'm like, you ate both containers? He was like, yes. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you had a nice booty part. So I just tell people to be creative. Don't use your own imagination with them. Of course, people will use them as a chili. They're making a chili and then they'll just add my beans to it. So yeah, it's just a combination of things. I don't tell people to limit themselves.
That's good. Yeah. That's really good to know. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you in terms of the business side.
Sure.
Now, what do you consider were some of the opportunities that you saw when you were starting out? Like, limitations, or you didn't have the right equipment, or what kind of things did you think were some of the limitations when you started?
Okay, so this goes back to that vision. It goes back to the vision of God, right? I'm still working my full-time job, and I knew someone that worked with the company that I work for, and her husband is at the farmer's market, and it's like, man, how am I going to get these beans out to the world? I don't know. And so I was like, okay, God, this is your vision. You're going to have to give me guidance and direction, because I don't know how to run a business. Two, I didn't know what to do and where to go, and so on and so forth. So first of all, I thought that I could just sell them like a cottage. There's cottage where you can make product in your home. Well, when I went to the city of Orlando, I was like, no, you can't do that. You got to go commercial. Yeah, I was like, what? Because of the barbecue sauce. So they like baking bread or throwing, canning stuff, right, or jams and stuff like that. Those kind of things you can do.
Oh, so it depends on which kind of food.
It depends on what kind of food, exactly. Okay. So you have to go to the Florida Department of Agriculture and whatever that other thing is called. So when the city of Orlando told me that, I was like, wow, okay, so now it's more to it than this. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's stressful, but I thank God I still had my 9 to 5, because if I was just jumping out there on my own, it would have been like, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no money, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So that helped. So I went and got and did that. And then you first, when you're dealing with food, you have to be, you have to get the certifications. You have to be a food manager certified. So I had to get that. And with that, then you got to go. Because I can't cook in my home. I have to cook in a commissary. So that means now you got to find a commissary, a kitchen where you can go and make your product, whatever that is. So you had to find that. And so everything was like, okay, again, God, what do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? And it's really crazy, because there are people out there, like, I tried to reach out to this one guy who's, he did barbecue. And I was like, hey, what can I do? Blah, blah, blah. But everybody got their own little secrets that they're doing things, and they're not in the arena that you have to be in. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, there's nobody out here to help me. I can't, there's no go-to person. Mm-hmm. And so again, I'm having to learn a whole bunch on my own. And I'm still learning a whole bunch on my own. And it's okay, because again, when God gives you a vision, He's going to help you walk it out. So anyway, with that being said, so now I'm in the commissary. Now I'm certified. And so, and now I'm taking it out to the farmer's market. The farmer's market I started out with was Winter Gardens Farmer's Market, mm-hmm. and love the community, love the people. I mean, when you got people that will embrace you like that, it helps you. It helps you say, okay, this is fun, this is good. I mean, because I love going to, I was like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Oh, I got something to do. Taste this, and they're like, oh, I love that. Give me that, and so. That is a thing that, some of the steps that a person has. And you have to trust that what you're doing is good. You have to enjoy it. Because if you're just doing it and you're not enjoying it, it's not fun, it's not causing you to want to go and do it. It's not worth it. That may not be the vision for you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you may need to do something else. Just like what you're doing here. It's like, hey, apparently you like talking to people. You like blasting out on YouTube. So yeah.
I've lost my mind after my old age, but that's okay. Now, you touched on something that I want to touch on, because on social media we have a situation which we are seeing now more in real life, mm-hmm. where people do what we call scandals for views, and what that means is they are getting more and more outrageous in order to make headlines so that they can sell their product, which in our case would be views on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But some of these people are also business owners, and every single time they have a launch, especially on makeup, they will go ahead and have this ridiculous scandal, anything from cheatations to the I was robbed, or I parked somewhere and the police took my car, any and all kinds of scandals, just so they get eyes on the product. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about how the vision and the belief in your product. And I would like you to do a little bit more about the actual belief in your product. Because I think that's something that people are missing nowadays with all these scandals for views. Which we're also seeing thanks to things like the Joe Rogan situation, which personally, I honestly think it's completely fabricated to have more eyeballs on Joe Rogan. But bottom line is, I don't have to tell you because you know that I love the beans.
Right.
But the beans sell because, number one, I don't care how you say it, you're behind your product. You're a very nice person to talk to, but you believe in your product.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I believe that that beans are, fiber, protein. It's something that we need more of in our lives. I have a lot of people that will come to me and say, "Oh, I can't eat beans." Oh, why? Because they make you fart. I mean, I don't know, right? But it's just that thing of, and it's because we're human. We are a plant. So we came from the earth. Our bodies were formed in this earth. And so as a result, there are things and nutrients that our body needs, and beans can do that. Because it's plant-based, it's growing from the earth. And so as a result, my perception is that I'm giving people healthy food. Does it come out of the can? Yes. I'm not sitting here, cooking 6,000 beans, because if I could do that, I would. But I have found a bean that's kosher, it's gluten-free, it's all of the, whether manufacturing the beans, they don't have the wheats and all those, cheeses and, the things that would say allergens. Okay, and they put it on their label. No, these are not. So I have to put it on my label. No, these are not. Because I'm supporting what you're telling me, and I'm telling these people that this is not in here. I'm telling you that it's vegan. I'm telling you that it has no dairy, it has no meat, and that if you want to have a healthier eating lifestyle, I want to help contribute to that. And so let me do that. I'm bringing in, and because I'm now selling my product out of Chamberlain's, my original barbecue sauce, they said, no, we can't bring that into our store, sorry. And so I was like, I better find another barbecue sauce that I can bring into your store. And I did that. I said, hey, what about this one? And they were like, we can do that. And so did that change the flavor of my overall product? A little bit. But it didn't take away from what I'm still wanting to promote. I want to promote healthier eating because I want to eat healthier. Now, is that a challenge? Of course it is.
Yes, it is.
Shoot, but still, you can contribute some kind of way in some, that's going to help the bigger picture and help people. Because you got people because my thing was like, okay, God, how do you sell beans? Just like a lot of cultures, like you say, hey, we eat rice and beans. That's just common to us. You may go to Jamaica and say, oh, we eat rice and beans. That's common to us. So who is my audience? And I was like, okay, God, who is my audience? People who want to eat healthier. I can't take my product. I can't take my baked beans to because I want to have my own commercial kitchen, my own kitchen.
Gotcha.
I want my own kitchen. I want to turn it into a store.
Gonna ask you that later.
Right. Okay.
All right.
So I want to do that, and I'm looking into that now. And it's like, Father God, I can't set my shop up in a Dominican Republican community. It's not gonna sell. Why? Because they eat beans and rice every day. And it's like, okay, well, where do I do this? So that's what I'm looking for now. Where is my niche of people that says, hey, we're going to support what you're doing. We're going to buy your product because we love it. And that's what I'm getting when I come to when I'm at the farmer's market. Now that I'm at Chamberlain, some people would just say, I'm supporting you because you're a woman. I'm supporting you because you're Black. I'm supporting you because you're an entrepreneur. I'm supporting you. Yeah, your beans may cost that number, but it's okay. I'm going to support you because they have to see something in me, which I believe they're seeing the vision of God manifesting right before them and says, hey, I'm going to support what you're saying. I'm going to support what you're doing. They like the sound. Just like when you said, it's like, these are really good. You brought some flavor of some cayenne and some turmeric and some bell peppers and some Vidalia onions. You brought these ingredients together with this barbecue sauce. And it's like, we love it. And I'm like, so now, God is so cool. He's like, hey, do something seasonal. I'm like, okay, seasonal, what's that? Do some pumpkin baked beans. I'm like, pumpkin baked beans? That's not selling at Chambers, but I'm bringing that to the farmer's market.
Gotcha.
Bring some pear baked beans. I'm like, do pear. Do mango. And it's like, people put it in. I was like, all I gotta do is get you to taste this. Mm-hmm. It's an anointing on the beans. Once you eat them, you'll be like, these are so good. And if I don't have it, they're like, you don't have no pumpkin.
We're going to have to go to that farmer's market for the mango ones. Because you said mango and my head just exploded. It's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to ask you about where your plans were, but I was also going to ask you, were you going to expand on the offer? And you're just telling me that when you do the farmer's market, yes, you add, depending on the season, you add different flavors. Are you going to stay with beans and just add flavors to the beans, or are you considering making maybe your own barbecue sauce that you sell? Or anything else?
And I've heard that. People are like, man, you should turn this into a sauce. And it's like, but that's not what he gave me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can try to add so much on your plate. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. It's like going to McDonald's. Oh, we got, they started out with burgers and fries. Now you got burgers and fries. Now you got salad. Now you got nuggets. Now you got chicken. And it's like, it's too much. Mm-hmm. I want to just come here and enjoy a real burger. Not this, the impossible, whatever that is, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, let your focus be that. And I make, like I do a coleslaw. I do a kale and mushroom soup, but it's all vegan. So it's like that. I don't want to go above what I'm capable of doing.
Gotcha.
I want to bring new things, but it's like, if you don't say do that, then no, I'm not going to jump. Because it's like, I was talking, like I said, I'm looking for a location, and I was talking to the realtor, and he was saying, well, you may have to get a grease trap. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not frying anything. I'm not doing anything like that. All I'm doing are beans. Mm-hmm. That's it. Kale and mushroom soup, and that's only because he gave that to me. If he drops a seed and says, okay, I want you to do that, try that. I'm like, all right, cool, God, we'll do that, no problem. And it's like that again. It's seasonal kale and mushroom soup. People don't eat soup all year round, and living in Florida, you don't know if people are eating soup or not because it doesn't get really cold here now, right? Mm-hmm. But now that the seasons are changing, the environment is changing, and our global system is changing, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, now let's do some kale and mushroom soup that is vegan, and it's like totally awesome.
She's killing me with kale and mushroom soup.
You have to try it when I make some again. You
have to let us know because
of course,
I love mushroom soup, and that's one of the first things I had to stop eating because the one I ate, my favorite, and I'm not telling the name of the supermarket because I'm mad at them. They had this mushroom soup, but it's wheat-based roux, and I can't touch it.
Gotcha.
And I was like, and I just found supermarket one that is gluten-free, so I'm tasting that one. I'm trying that one, but yes. Now, since you brought up being a woman and an African American, and we are in Black History Month, what advice do you have for not just African Americans, but women, especially women who happen to be women of color, on starting a business?
My thing is this: if God has dropped a seed for you to do something, go for it. Is it going to be challenging? Yes. Are people going to be like, you crazy? Yes. Yeah. All of that, all the above. Because like I said, I was working my 9 to 5. I used to own a house, and it was like, sell it. I'm like, okay. My community was changing, so that was a part of the reason. And I was like, God, I don't know where you're going to be taking me. So if this is what I need to do, I'm going to be willing and obedient to what you want me to do. Bam, sell the house. So I'm a townhouse dweller now. It gives me more space, and I can actually bring in all these canned goods until I can get my space where, this is your central location now. In 2021, I'm still doing my 9 to 5, still got my benefits, go get my glasses, go get my doctor checkups, all those things, because that's why I stayed there. And it was getting to be a thing where I can't do both, Lord. I can't do my 9 to 5 and work. Because working, and I had to learn this, and I've learned this from other people that have given testimony, that working is fun. Job is stress.
Yep.
Job is you working for that person. They're going to make you work. They're going to stress you out. Oh, you didn't get that report. Oh, you got to get that contract. Or whatever your job, your profession is, that's stress. This is somebody's slave driving you. When you're working for yourself, it's different. You still have some of those principles of, you're working. You got to get up and you got to go to work. You got to go and sell your product. You got to go and promote you and promote this vision. And you have to believe that God is going to bring the people. Not bring, He already has the people set up. Mm-hmm. Take this step, there's a person. Take this step, there's Chamberlains. I can say Chamberlains. It's okay. Right? Because I went to a Central Florida Vegan Fest event, and that was a lot of money. I made tons of beans. I made so many baked beans. It's like, okay, I'm bringing all of them. Did I get all of them sold? No. Was it disappointing to me? Yes. I made back what I paid for that event to be there. But what I did not know is that God had the person that I needed to meet there, right next to me. Chamberlain.
Wow.
I did not know that. I did not know that the person that put my beans in her mouth was the GM. I thought she was just a manager. I'm not going to scream out her name, but I'm just saying that it was like, and I didn't find that out until I actually got connected with Chambers. I was like, God, you were so awesome. Thank you.
And that happens to, for those,
did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. For those of you who don't believe, because I have a lot of people that don't believe.
Right.
There are certain things that happen in life, and we all know this happens because if you've ever read The Law of Attraction, or if you've ever read any book on any faith or non-faith, there is always the one guiding principle that when you get an idea, whether you believe it came from God or you just believe you got the idea because I guess you think it came from the ether. Whatever. Because let's be clear, y'all know how I feel about religion, but I still believe in God. To me, that's not going to change. However, no matter how you see the principle, there's always this idea that if you have something that comes from your heart and you put a good effort in it, things are going to start coming your way. In the case of the law of attraction, that's exactly what the law of attraction says. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. Same with God. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. When you have the idea, things start showing up for you. If you truly believe in what you're doing. And I think Arlene is proof that if you believe in what God gave you, in her case, in what God gave you, things will happen. And they're not going to happen overnight. And that's a big deal because most people, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background so you understand. I let the channel go for about a year. Things were happening. My mom was dying. I didn't know she was dying, but my mom was dying. I lost my dog, which I had the entire 14 years of his life. He was my dog. And things just started going bad, and we were in the middle of the panini, because we can't say the word on YouTube, so we have to call it the panini. And so I let the channel go, and of course, I lost subscribers because nobody was watching because there was nothing to watch. Mm. And now I'm sitting there like, I know what I want to do. I might not be good at explaining it to people, but I know what I want to do. And if I get 20 people to watch every video, but they watch every single video, maybe next week it'll be 25. Maybe next week it'll be 30. And little by little, you build it. Yes, there are people that build it in 3 months. Congratulations. But the real, average, normal people don't build their businesses overnight. They struggle a lot. They might be overnight sensations to you because you didn't see the 2, 3, 4, 5 years that they busted their hump. In your case, you still had your job and you were doing this on the side, but you were noticing that, okay, I really need to trust that this is going to happen because I can't do both. And I think what you said about the difference between your company and a job is so important for people to understand.
Right.
I don't have anything against people who want to work for somebody else because there's some people that are built for that.
Exactly.
They need that kind of structure.
Right.
They need to have somebody to tell them what to do and what not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. But there's a lot of people that just want to do their own thing, or they don't have a choice because they get sick and they have to figure it out. And for those people, this is an option. In her case, it's baked beans. And they're good. So any other message that you want to give my people before we go?
Well, my thing is that, again, if you feel or believe or you know, like my resource is God, so I can only acknowledge him that, just do it, go for it. He's going to give you the steps because the Bible says that our steps are ordered by the Lord. And if we let him give us and walk in that and build that relationship with him, that he's going to do all of that. Does it happen overnight? No, it does not happen overnight. Will you have challenges? Yes. Will you know everything there is to know? Of course not. But if you just continue the path, it's going to come into fruition. And I would say, don't be afraid, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of a sound mind. And with that sound mindness, you can just kind of walk it out and you'll see it. I believe that because time is moving a lot faster than we've ever known it, that he's moving just as fast because he's not in time. He's just helping us. Okay, go do this, go do that, and when you do that, then you get to see the process happen a lot faster. Because, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let it go. I was listening to this one young man. He's on YouTube. His name is Pastor Michael Todd. And he was talking about how our forefathers, and this is probably for all cultures, because I think all cultures have experienced some type of bondage in their race, from whatever, being slaved out or pimped out or whatever. And so he was saying, but your forefathers prayed for you. And so we're the result of their prayer. Help my child, help my great-great-grandchildren to be successful. Help them to see who you are. Help them to be whatever it is. And we're the result of that, no matter what we had to go through. And what he was saying is that if I wasn't supposed to be here, God wouldn't let me be here. I have to live in my now. I have to live in my very present. No matter what I may be experiencing, I'm still a testimony unto him that God saw me through. And so that's solid. That you can stand on that and trust in that. Yeah, my body may be doing weird stuff, but I'm still here. I may have experienced tragedy as a child, but I'm still here. And that's my testimony, that God, whatever I experienced growing up, I'm still here. I'm still that testimony that says, look what the Lord has done.
I'm gonna leave it at that because that was perfect.
Isn't she amazing? I had such a wonderful time interviewing Arlene. And now I'm going to leave you in the information box all the information about her Instagram, her Facebook, and her website. I want to thank my patrons and my rock stars for making this possible for me. And if you would like to see more interviews, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.